Grand Rapids. Thank you for joining
check.
us.
Mike. Sorry,
Hello.
I didn't turn these on before.
I was ready to fake it.
Hey, hello.
November is the cruelest month.
We can keep Sean's off.
All right, that's fine.
That's not true. Good evening, Grand Rapids. Thank you for joining us. I'm your anchor, Josie.
And I'm your other anchor, Sean. And because some of you might have been duck and covering from, ooh, there we go, ooh. So it's probably just the keyboard one and stage left. Everything else can go away. Sweet. I'm your other anchor, Sean. And because some of you were duck and covering from the storms all over Michigan last night, we have been chasing the local, national, and world stories that you may have missed.
You're welcome, Grand Rapids. This is
NewsFlash. Our top story tonight. Yes, just yesterday, the Commander-in-Chief announced he is not ruled out running for an unconstitutional third term, saying ominously, there are methods. Great, sounds awesome, you know. We just bring it down just a little bit more. Probably just like 3, there we go. You know, I think Trump learned that comedy comes in threes. Or is it bad things coming in threes? I think either way, it's going to be both probably. After taking a very long, cold shower and punching some walls, we here at NewsFlash did what we always do, and we brainstormed what of these methods he's talking of might include. So maybe he's going to run as JD's vice president, and then Vance mysteriously disappears after Election Day.
Or letting Eric run, but then, surprise, it was his dad in a mask the whole time. Also known as the Scooby-Doo method.
Yeah.
But could also do this in a face-off scenario.
Yeah. Everyone liked that one a lot. Having Elon Musk buy just the entire country using Tesla and X stock as collateral, and then appointing Trump as assistant to the Mr. Manager. I mean, this is basically what's already happening right now, except that Tesla stock is tanking right now, so maybe that one's not so likely. Maybe he can PayPal himself or something.
Or host a January 6th reunion special on Bravo. And instead of Andy Cohen, it's hosted by the QAnon shaman, and then they storm the Capitol again.
Yeah. Now, when asked how this news definitely contradicts his campaign promise that this is the last election that citizens would have to vote for him, Trump said, this time nobody votes.
Oh yeah, we didn't like that one.
Yeah, that one's just a little too real.
We touched on this last week, but just to recap, noted alcoholic and to a lesser extent, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth accidentally included an Atlantic reporter in a group text on the messaging app Signal about a bombing operation in Yemen. Of course, the response to this has ranged from Republicans lying that it wasn't classified info, it was, or that nobody knows or trusts the reporter in question, then why was he added to the chat? Or that it might have been a bug with the Signal app that caused him to be added, so why are we using that app to discuss classified information? Or that it's not Hegseth's fault, and if it was, he wasn't drunk, and if he was, it's not even a big deal. None of these things are true. In response, Hegseth said, "What? You've never had a couple drinks and sent a wrong text?" And the following emojis.
Oh, there's no emojis there, so just imagine it was an eggplant.
White House Press Secretary Catherine Leavitt said today that the case is closed, which is weird because it seems like it was never open. Incredible how the But Her Emails camp is bending over backwards to excuse this major fuck up, but I guess they've all just been practicing their double standards hot mess yoga.
This Wednesday, the Trump administration is promising more reciprocal tariffs on an unspecified number of countries and what they're calling a Liberation Day. So I guess we're all going to be liberated from ever having to buy anything again? I don't know. Donnie said in an interview with NBC News over the weekend, in addition to Canada and Mexico and China, Russia and Iran can also have some tariffs as a treat. Trump said he's pissed off at Putin, which I think is weird because I thought it was obvious that Putin had a tape that proves that he was pissed on. But this lovers' quarrel is apparently over the Russian vampire's recent treatment of Ukrainian President Zelensky because he started getting into his credibility. That's not going in the right location. That's what he said. Horrific syntax aside, if that's true, what the frick was this all about, right? You're being mean to Putin because you were, like, what? Are you going to impose tariffs on you? Is that the metric we're using? I don't know. Every time I think he changes his mind on something, I think he just has to add $1 to the flip jar.
The world of politics seems big and scary, but it can also be dumb and silly. For example, in Seacliff, a small village on Long Island, they recently held a mayoral election where the incumbent mayor and that one professor we all had in college, Elena Villafane, beat out her opponent. Nothing unusual there, except that her opponent and Getty image result for drunk Uncle Robert Ehrlich is also the founder of everyone's fourth favorite snack brand, Pirate's Booty. And instead of admitting defeat, has falsely claimed election fraud and is trying to assert his authority as the real mayor by stating that everybody who currently works for the city is fired but can reapply for their old jobs. Something about the story seems weirdly familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Let's check the bingo card. A rich white man out of touch with the reality, check. Claimed rigged election, check. Firing and rehiring, check. Silly business name, check, check. Long Island, and that is a bingo. Yeah. Apparently part of the reason for his loss is that Long Islanders rejected his campaign slogan, "Like my chips, let's make Seacliff booty licking great again."
Long Island's don't like licking booty. USA Today published an article last week detailing a series of train robberies that took place in California and Arizona over the last 2 years. $2 million worth of Nike shoes having been stolen by a crime ring of about 60 people currently facing charges. A man who is believed to be the ringleader was arrested last June after police raided 11 homes in his name and 16 storage units containing almost $3 million worth of stolen goods. So, yeah, I think your friend who has a couple dozen Air Jordans or your hoarder aunt, I mean, it could be a lot worse, just, you know.
Train robberies and Nazis are back? I hate this timeline.
Oof. Now, the heists all featured the very same specific scientific process. The thieves boarded the trains in the dead of night at loading stations in secret, opening the containers with bolt cutters while the train was moving, then cut the brake lines, forcing an emergency stop, and then trucks came in to collect the product by what authorities were calling a human conveyor belt. Now, that means the shoes are being stolen in the same way that they're made. Exploitative manual labor. Now, if this all sounds like the making of an amazing heist movie, you're right. Hollywood has already optioned this story for the upcoming gritty reboot of Thomas the Tank Engine.
You're in for a shock with this next story.
Oh boy.
A neighborhood in Portland is having issues with an unknown suspect putting gallons of pee in the recycling bin, causing them to not be picked up by waste services. Personally, I'd be pissed. That's unbelievable. It's certainly causing a stream of issues in the community, and we hope they can flush the suspect out soon.
Josie, everybody. Been a minute since we had a good old-fashioned pun run with Josie. Now, could books be making a comeback? Probably not. But if anybody can do it, It's these two, the biggest YouTuber of all time for some reason, for people under the age of 20, Mr. Beast and your aunt's favorite novelist, James Patterson, have collaborated on a novel that is being described as inspired by Squid Games and is definitely not just a ripoff of Squid Games, starring Alex Cross and a burger. And it's apparently already finished and undergoing an 8-figure bidding war for publication and adaptation rights. Now, that seems like a quick turnaround, but in the time it's taken for me to read this old paragraph, Patterson and his ghostwriters have already finished 12 follow-up sequels. Now, these two are both masters of oversaturation in their respective fields. So this is definitely a match in content heaven, or hell, depending on what your perspective is. But it is sure to lead to other collaborations in the future between famous authors and YouTubers.
First up, Daniel Steele and Hot Ones, mouths aflame with passion.
Nora Roberts and Watch Mojo, top 10 crimes committed by sexy witches.
Number 4 is going to surprise you. You've also got Jodi Picoult and Jenna Marbles with My Own Cancellation.
Stephen King and Logan Paul, Mystery of the Japanese Forest.
Tom Clancy and Dude Perfect, killer shot, bro.
And finally, of course, Nicholas Sparks and Coco Melon with Gently Down the Stream. It's a tale as old as time about 2 kids on a rowboat who fall in love and then get cancer and drown. Romance!
And it's time for Zeus Flash.
Zeus Flash!
Meanwhile, in New Jersey, TSA found a live turtle down in the groin area under a man's pants as he was going through security.
Glad they specified what part of the pants.
The man claimed it was an all-organic crotch cup because, of course, it's New Jersey. However, airport police identified the turtle as Franklin and thwarted his plans to leave the country to avoid being prosecuted for his crimes.
Poor Franklin. Never catch a break. A man in Holland, Michigan is being charged for going on a rampage at a Walmart, otherwise known as a typical day at Walmart, maybe, I don't know, destroying several televisions and glass display cases. This is actually the man's 3rd felony notice, meaning he's only 1 away from a free arraignment with the Holland PD.
Good for him.
Now, this may seem like a crime of random violence, but actually he was just practicing for the upcoming game show Literal Supermarket Sweep. Yes, you try to fit the entire store into your cart as fast as possible.
After 30 years, veteran and Grand Rapids pilot Mark Brown Eye landed his final flight going from O'Hare to Gerald R. Ford Airport last week. Brown Eye then walked back to Chicago to pick up his car from short-term parking. In unrelated news, I thought a Brown Eye flight was just when the person in front of you keeps farting.
Hey, remember last week when I joked that Trump said people should just put bleach in their food to fight against bird flu? Well, looks like I'm gonna eat my words because I can't eat liquid eggs anymore. The Michigan-based liquid egg product Egg Beaters just issued a recall of over 200,000 pounds of their product might contain cleaning solution. Yeah, I guess there goes my clean living hollandaise recipe. Affected regions supposedly include Ohio, Texas, Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, and Iowa. So bad news for anybody looking to save money on eggs by hitting up the Hotel Continental breakfast in another state.
Finally, in case you didn't already know, which would be pretty surprising, honestly. Yeah! Today is International Trans Transgender Day of Visibility, and because we live in a nightmare where the president is signing executive orders that directly prosecute trans and non-binary people, with an unelected sociopath who won't even acknowledge his own trans child running amok on democracy, it feels especially important this year to celebrate our friends and family and community members who are directly affected by this extreme rhetoric. Here with a special report on tonight's fundraiser beneficiary HOJO is their good friend and tonight's special correspondent, Jacob De La Rosa.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi. Oh, you're okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. So I don't know how many of you know HOJO, but he and I have been friends for, well, since our late 20s, so about 2 years ago. And one night, we were at the pyramid scheme, and he said to me something that I'll never forget, because I have a recording of it.
Oh.
Let's see here. Is this
Oh, yeah,
on?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Hold on, sorry.
Oh, there we
You know
go.
what? I can't play it, but that's okay because.
What's the quote? Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Am I so drunk all the time that I'm never the most sober one? I knew then I was in the presence of a mind unlike any other in the world. And so from then on, like an ardent disciple, I would record these proverbs that just fell effortlessly from HOJO's mouth. And I'd like to share just a few of them with you. The collected wisdom of HOJO. It's important for me to mention that most prophets are hated in their hometown. So I give you that caveat before I read you this first quote. Honestly, if polyamory was just post-Cold War, sexually liberated Eurotrash people making nonsensical house music, I would be more forgiving. If anyone is offended by that, I don't know why, because I was there and I can't tell you what this means.
I think that tracks. That makes sense to me.
All right. No, this one is a little less controversial. The revolution will be pixelated. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, okay. We're talking about hermetic witchcraft, and we don't know how to eat. It's an Uber Eats conversation.
Oh.
Oh, my court magician ambitions are out of control. Not all Karens wear capes. Think about it for a second. Yeah, think about it. It's not a midlife crisis, it's just a crisis. He lives his life like a shot of Fireball in margarita mix.
Wow.
All right. Nobody wants a backseat skeleton. And I think this might be coming to the end here. You're either an Oscar Wilde son or a Blink-182 daughter. And then one.
Where are you?
Yeah. One final one here. I feel like my neurodivergences don't present in a way that would make a good meme. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the